All right, here we are with the one and only, the majestic Dr. Demento. What is going on, Mr. D, Dr. D?
Hello, exploded. We're getting demented.
There we go. For those of you who don't know, I'm sure we already set this up going into it, but this is the one and only Dr. D, famous for, like, how would you describe yourself, Dr. Demento?
I've been playing mad music and crazy comedy on the radio and on the internet for a long time. And I'm the guy who's best known for songs like Fish Heads and Dead Puppies and They're Coming to Take Me Away, Ha Ha. And of course, the collected works of Weird Al Yankovic, who I discovered years ago.
Well, there you
And I'm going to try not to geek out here, but Dr. D, I had a list of like Mount Rushmore of childhood heroes. And on that list, it was Beekman, Red Green, Weird Al, and Dr. D. And you introduced me to comedy in like junior high. Listen to your radio show, man. I can't thank you enough.
Well, what great company. Thank you so much. And you're welcome, too.
I used to stay up really late at night to listen to you on a adult contemporary station in College Station, Texas called Mix 104.7. And they would play you Sunday nights at midnight.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Did you put the radio under your pillow late at night?
What I would do is I'd sit there, actually. I'd hit it. Yeah, it'd be basically in the bedroom in the dark. And I'd have one of those double cassette players that you could record off of. And I recorded every one of your shows on cassette tape. And then later on would make mixtapes to play to all my buddies. And it opened I didn't even know, I was so young that comedy, even the idea of like comedy was kind of new to me. Like all the novelty music, I didn't even know stand-up. I knew novelty music before I knew like even stand-up comedy. It was great.
Oh, how very cool. Yeah. Well, we like to stand up too. It's mad music and crazy comedy, but I'm best known for my funny tunes.
And you mentioned you discovered Weird Al. How did that kind of go down? Because he's like, now he's like amazing and everybody knows him. But you heard him when he recorded like in a bathroom stall and sent you cassette tapes.
Right, even before that. When he was in high school, he was 16 and still going to high school. He started sending me tapes. And he first learned about me when I came and did an assembly at his high school. I used to do a lot of those.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he went home and thought, hey, I can do that. So he recorded some tunes in his bedroom or his basement or something and sent them to me on a cassette. It was about a 39-cent cassette and sent it to me. And even with the crude equipment, he came across real well. He had charisma from the very first thing he sent me.
Well, it definitely shows now with the career he's had. Moving on, to like, didn't he just win a Grammy, if I'm not mistaken?
Oh, yeah, he's had several Grammys and hit #1 in Billboard with his latest album. And his tour is lining up for another summer. He'll be doing concerts across the country all this summer.
So,
What was the first song he sent you?
Oh, well, the very first one was called Belvedere Cruising. That may sound odd, but his family had a 1964 Plymouth Belvedere. This was in 1976, so it was a car that had seen a few miles, and it was just about riding around the streets of his hometown in that car. And somehow, it doesn't sound very promising, but the lyrics were funny and well put together, and they rhymed and they fit the music, and you could understand all the words. And plus, he had that accordion going on, which made it very different for 1976. Nobody under 40 was making music with an accordion that year.
Playing the accordion.
Yep.
That's awesome. And I also heard on your show, one of the other people that I heard, you used to do novelty music and not just comedy.
All the time.
But you would play Frank Zappa a lot, and that's where I got turned on to Zappa.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Well, he's brilliant and funny, so what more did I need?
Well,
I
got to know him. I got to actually know him a little bit and become very familiar with his music before the Dr. Demento show started. So I met him, and we talked about music and comedy and found that we had a lot in common. So when he started putting records out, I, of course, was a huge fan, went to a lot of his concerts. So as soon as I started the show, I realized I've got to play Zappa.
Definitely. Did you ever hear any Zappa cereal? Do you remember the Yellow Snow song?
Yeah, that's one of his most famous, of course. Don't eat the yellow snow.
Now, see, to preface this for everybody and for you, Dr. D, I was never an active listener of your show, but JC here, I'm sorry, I apologize. No, but you're still held in high regard to me because of this gentleman we're talking with, JC. Everything you did, he recorded and then passed on to me and gave me copies of all your tapes. So I listened to all the songs and everything.
If there are any shows that you missed, both of you, you can hear them online because we have a website, drdemento.com. And you can hear my current show and some old ones, too, there. So we put a new show up every Saturday. There's a brand new one up just this morning that I just recorded this week. And so we do that every week. Brand new show, drdemento.com. And we charge a small fee because we have to pay royalties and keep the site open. But you can hear a complete 2-hour show for $2, and you can subscribe.
So is it live streaming, or not live streaming, but is it streaming from the website, or can you download it like a podcast?
Yeah. It's streaming. Okay. It's not a podcast. There are long legal reasons for that.
Well, right. I just didn't, because I prefer to download things so I don't use my data. I'm just trying to get the full definition for you out there.
Well, of course, with streaming, you can record it by external means.
Oh, yeah, that's true. You're right.
Yes.
Now, Dr. D, are you thinking that because of the changes in the radio, here's the thing that I found interesting is because now radio, you've been a broadcaster, for decades and decades, and over time, the radio world became kind of unfriendly to people that would experiment with formats. Now it's so tightly formatted, it almost feels like there's not a home for people to break out and do unique things like you did on the show. Do you think that as well? Or?
Well, that's true. That is true. I came along at the right time for radio, so I'm lucky. It was a combination of luck and timing and talent, I imagine, that enabled the show to break out and become very successful in the 1970s. It was heard all over the country, FM and even a few AM stations around the country, and it went on from there. Now, of course, there's the internet, so people can still start a career from nothing. And again, with a little luck and some talent, they can make a name for themselves and even make a little money. So all is not lost, despite whatever happened to radio.
Yeah, I always say the world of podcasting, the world of internet radio, to me, it's still broadcasting, which is what I fell in love with by listening to personalities like yourself. And so I've kind of migrated towards the online community as it's become less and less DJ friendly on the terrestrial side of things.
Right. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Do you think that there's changes in comedy music as well? Like the world of YouTube has kind of there's a resurgence now of comedy music because of YouTube, I think.
Well, that's correct.
Do you get a lot of submissions from people like that? Like on YouTube, check it out, Dr. D?
Oh, yeah, we do. Most of my submissions come online these days, though I still get CDs and even the occasional cassette in the mail.
Well, you get a cassette in the mail still?
Yeah, people still send me stuff. P.O. Box 884, Culver City, California, 90232.
Wow, there you go, old school style. You just mail it in to Dr. D.
Oh, yeah. But it's easier for most people to send me an MP3.
Definitely.
Dr. Demento at drdemento.com.
Are they making a documentary about you? I heard there's a documentary coming out.
Yeah, we're working on it. I don't have a release date, but we're working hard on it. We have 80 hours of footage already, so I'm hoping that'll be out soon. But no, I have no release date or anything like that. But yes, that is in progress.
And do you remember, Serial, the old thing I used to play for you all the time, Dungeons and Dragons? Do you remember that?
Yes. What is it, Lynch? Is that right?
I don't remember who did it, but it was hilarious.
We've had several things about Dungeons and Dragons. A group called the let's see, the Vestibules up in Canada did.
Yes.
No, I'm sorry. I was thinking of something else. I've played more than 10,000 comedy tracks, so I get it. Yeah. Yeah, it was the Dead Alewives who did the Dungeons and Dragons thing that was real popular, a group from Milwaukee.
That's a place you don't see many bands coming from. There's not a lot of big name bands coming out of Milwaukee, is there?
Oh, there have been a few. But yeah, in comedy, they would certainly have pride of place. The Dead Alewives. They hate to spoil it, but they moved to L.A. after a while.
You got to these days, this day and age.
Yeah, they've gone their separate ways since then. But anyway, that was a great piece. I still play it now and then.
They had a great one also, Dr. D, that you used to play called Dial 1. And that was like, oh my God, I laughed so hard when I heard Dial 1. The Royal Canadian Air Force. There we go. That was
Canada.
I loved it, man. And the ultimate. This is the first song I ever heard on your show. The ultimate song was "Shaving Cream," and I still sing that to this day.
Oh, okay. Well, that was one of my first hits.
It was amazing.
I have a sad story to tell you. It may hurt your feelings a bit. Last night when I went into my bathroom, I stepped in a big pile of shaving cream. Be nice and clean. Shave every day and you'll always look keen. And, of course, there are many, many, many verses to that. And that became very popular in the days when you really could not say the S word, certainly not on the radio and not in public, really, unless you were among friends. So times have, of course, changed a great deal since then. You were asking about how comedy has changed. When I started the show, there was no such thing as rap. There was no hip-hop. It just did not exist. That wasn't invented until 1979, 1980. So, and now, of course, there's a whole lot of comedy rap.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's one way it's changed.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, too. And you're a music guy. I'm not much of a singer, but whenever we've done a few comedy, not really, it's kind of like comedy, but it's kind of party music as well. And every time I do a song, I always rap because I find it easier because I suck at singing.
Well, many people do, so that's one reason it became so popular. Of course, it takes a lot of talent to rap well, too. I've heard a whole lot of real bad rap, so that does, a lot of people might disagree, but that does take talent to do it well.
Do you still use, was it Musical Mike, the guy with the hands that made the noises?
Oh, I actually saw him just a couple of days ago, but no, he doesn't take an active part in my show anymore, but he used to answer the phones for me.
Yeah.
Because I had a live show. My show, of course, started as a live radio program in Los Angeles, and we had a live show for quite a number of years, and into the 90s. So that was that was about 30 years. And so we'd have, it got to be hard for me to answer the phones and do the show at the same time because there'd be so many calls. So I'd bring my friends in to answer the phone and take requests. And Musical Mike became the leader of my phone crew.
Yeah, wow. And I know I saw him in I got so excited when I saw him in the Weird Al video for the Crash Test Dummies parody, Headline News.
Right, yeah. Headline News, yes. Yeah.
I loved it.
Right.
What does it feel like? This will be my last question because I want Cyril to take over, but I just want to know what it feels like. Because for somebody like me who grew up listening to you, I think it was in the 6th or 7th grade when I discovered it. And I know so many people that have discovered comedy and discovered music because of your show, like millions and millions of people worldwide. What does that feel like to know you did that?
I take a lot of pride in that. Thank you very much.
I imagine.
I'm sure we're not the only ones that like heard you or discovered you in our youth and then like developed our sense of humor around your sense of humor, essentially, picking what songs you do and playing the style of things you do. We were molded by that. And now we do the internet and this is who we are.
Okay. Are you two guys in the same room?
Not technically.
Okay.
Actually, not by any definition at all. We are not in the same room.
Okay. How many miles apart?
Oh,
I'm in Waco, Texas, and he is in
just outside of
College Station.
Yeah, College Station, Texas.
Oh, okay. That's a little distance there. Waco, the home of Steve Martin, as I recall.
Is it really?
Yeah, he was born in Waco, I believe. He grew up somewhere else.
Let's fact check Dr. Demento real fast. Steve Martin.
Well, I'm glad to hear that, because otherwise Waco's just known for David Koresh, Dr. D.
Okay. College Station, that was the home of Sneaky Pete Rizzo, who was very popular on my show.
Yes, Sneaky Pete. I used to go to Hastings to watch him sing.
Yeah, he taught at Texas A&M for a long time.
Sure enough, Steve Martin was born in Waco.
I feel like you were a wealth of knowledge. I feel like I could just throw out a name and you would be, or a town, and you would know something about it.
All right. Well, certain names anyway.
Oh, anyway. So there you go, Dr. D. Yeah, I got to apologize. We are in the world of technology, talk about the internet. We're figuring out new ways to do things. And so we decided to try to build a system where I can be in Waco, he can be in College Station. We can run two different phones and have a studio phone, and we can make it all high quality mics, so that I'm on my Shure SM7B, he's on his Shure, so that when people hear it, it's all high quality.
Yeah, I've done many interviews that way.
Yeah, it's tricky the first time around.
Here's a bit of trivia for you. You know that song, They're Coming to Take Me Away, Ha Ha, very popular on the show. Yeah. The guy who did that, Napoleon the 14th, also known as Jerry Samuels, he's a recording engineer also. That's how he made his living for a number of years. And he developed that technique for having an interview with two different people, thousands of miles apart, and have them both use a high-quality microphone and have it sound like they're in the same room.
Oh, wow.
So one of the many talents of Jerry Samuels, a.k.a. Napoleon the 14th, who is still with us and still writes a song now and then, and has a real job, too. So
he was the pioneer of what we're doing then. He is a pioneer of podcasting.
Right, yes, right. Now, a podcast hadn't come along yet, but it's that technique of using high-quality microphones two separate places, which is, I could explain on the air, but it'd take too long.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we thought we were creative. We thought we had it figured out, Dr. D, and it turns out it's already been invented.
Okay. So, anything else?
Cyril, you got anything else? We just want to let him promote his show, obviously.
Yeah. Just holler at everybody. Let them know where they can find you and, how to get a hold of you.
Okay. Yeah. Once again, drdemento.com, DRDEMENTO.com. And you just go there and look for where it says listen to shows. Click here, and that'll take you to where you can hear all the shows, including the current show.
We'll be tuned into that. Check it out, Dr. Demento. I am honored that you would take even a little bit of time out.
drdemento.com, yes. Yeah, well, it's nice to be with you guys on Exploded Ed.
That's awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. D. It was a pleasure.
You stay demented.